So one thing that I've learned, even just through the group coaching, dude, is I heard someone say this in one of the calls. I don't remember who it was, but I almost give them an identity frame. Right? I respect them because if I respect them, the respect reciprocates. Right? So when I have these high ego leads, one, there's two ways I go about it. One is I just straight up fucking call them out for it. Like, dude, is this ego helping either of us? Like envisioning that reality, right? Like envisioning that reality in your mind right now. What are those emotions running through your brain right now, envisioning that reality? Like, would you be crying out of sadness or crying out of joy?
I don't have any emotions since I lost my money, to be honest. I sold my car, I sold my G class,
Okay, cool.
$200,000 just to inject and to keep my trading.
Yeah, dude, you're not
uh,
listening to my question.
yeah,
Like you're
no,
just talking about like, dude, unrelated stuff. Like I don't care if you have a G class, right? That doesn't matter. My question is like, right, envisioning a reality of you making 25 grand a month. What are those emotions running through your brain right now, envisioning that reality? Does that fear support who you want to become?
No,
Why is
it
that
doesn't.
funny?
It doesn't. It's not funny, but it doesn't. It doesn't
Okay.
support. I don't
Why
want
do you
to,
think you're laughing at?
because you just expose a small dot in me.
The main man Vince, how are you, bro?
Doing good. How are you guys? As you guys know, I'm Vince. I've been in sales for just about a year now. I realized that I got to a point where I was making consistently like 7-8 grand a month. I just realized like I knew there was so much more potential closing, especially if I got the right help.
And you made what? We made what in total last month?
31K in commissions.
Well, who do we have with us here today? The superstar of the fucking show, superstar of STS this month. The main man Vince, how are you, bro?
Doing good. How are you guys?
A-okay. We have Ismail with us as well. This is sort of like a very premium, or like we're very reluctant to put it out there, but it is very fucking powerful. So this is like an offer that we've recently had implemented into STS. So it's like an offer where Ismail is, we call it like a ramp up period. So like for the first 4 weeks, Ismail will actually do one-to-ones to make sure you have the best opportunity for success the moment you come into the door. And Vince is a really good reflection of how fast you can actually ramp up with those one-to-ones in particular. Now, we don't actually offer this to everybody, but we do offer it for people that we know can actually make this work and actually committed to making it work. So those are the guys that have the ability to invest, and obviously they want to get to where they want to go a little bit quicker. We definitely don't put the wrong people in front of Ismail. What I mean by that is people that are scared, fearful, hesitant, unsure, uncertain on life or in themselves, because that's not going to give us the ability to make sure you have the most success out of that opportunity. So Vince, in fact, I'll let Vince kind of take the floor away, but this is Ismail as well. Ismail, if you want to introduce yourself, that'd be a pleasure. People should know who you are at this point because you're a fucking savage, but there you go.
Yeah. So myself, yeah, I mean, I've been in this space for the last year and a half. So I've been doing one-on-one training inside STS with all the guys who just want to level up to the next level and just move quick. Everything works, whether you guys do it just the basic training and get group calls, but when you do one-to-one like Vince, it's just fast tracks your success. So I don't take success out of anybody's hands when I work with them. Vince did all the work, but it just goes to shows like you give instant feedback, you implement it, and I guess like there you go, Vince. Put in your results, and you can speak for yourself here. But it just goes to show how quick you can turn things around when you just implement fast.
One thing that's important, because like I know people clickbait. Unfortunately, most of the info space is very patient, and they want to get straight to the fucking meat of it.
Yeah.
So like, obviously that's what people are here for. They want to know what you earn and how long you've kind of been in the industry. So like, if you want to start off with that, and then obviously we can run through like your personal story and stuff, why you got into sales, because I think people just want to hear the most of it, because the dopamine receptors are fucked, and that's what gets them the highest. So go for it.
Yeah, for sure. So, as you guys know, I'm Vince. I've been in sales for just about a year now, but I was setting for a year, and I was actually, funny enough, I was setting for Ismail when we were on like the same offer. But yeah, I was setting for a year. We had a chat about it, but way too fucking long. I realized that I got to a point where I was making consistently like 7-8 grand a month, and I just realized like I knew there was so much more potential closing, especially if I got the right help. Right. So about 2 months ago, roughly around 2 months ago, I reached out to Kurt and Ismail. Don't get me wrong, everyone has those limiting beliefs, right? I was scared as shit because I invested basically half of my emergency fund. Don't get me wrong, I don't come from like a rich family, right? I invested half of my fucking emergency fund, and from there, it just flipped a switch in me, right? Because I put a dollar value to like something that I invested in, so I had no plan B. I only stuck to this, and that's how, again, my last month, my first full month closing, I hit 250,000 collected for the offer that I was on with a 53% close rate. All dues paid to Ismail and Kurt just because, again, I didn't complain. I showed up. I did the work. I implemented every single thing they taught me. Right? At first, it was a little difficult just because setting, closing, very, very different. But since I had that one-to-one, I just exponentially grew, like instantly. Yeah, but yeah, this month right now I'm at 50K collected, and it's only October 6th, right? So I'm doing roughly around almost 10K a day.
Fuck. And
Easy.
you made what? We made what in total last month?
31K in commissions.
31K in commissions, and that's like your first month of closing as well.
Yeah, my first ever month.
Yeah.
Something that's really important, that something that's funny that you said there is you knew the potential of closing, but you put it off for a full year before you did it. Why?
Yeah. I didn't know that Ismail called me out for it, actually. I got comfortable because, one, I was 20. I dropped out of college, and I was scared as shit. I didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't know what path I was going to take. So I got comfortable making 7-8 grand a month because I thought for me at my age then it was insane. But then I saw someone like Ismail, who's 18, I think, I'm not sure his biggest month, but I heard he had like a 40K month. So I was like, fuck. Like clearly there's no difference between me and Ismail. It's just he had the right resources and actually did the work.
Yeah, I think that that's going to talk a lot to setters though specifically because a lot of setters know that they don't want to put their commissions in other people's hands. And that's the reality of it. Like as a setter, no matter how good of a setter you are, it comes down to a closer. Even break that down. I guess I know we talked when we were in DMs about you. I guess putting your trust into some closers on the team, which we won't call people out. But even that whole process of being a setter, putting calls into other people's hands, like what was that feeling like in comparison to when you were a setter to now that you're a closer? What really made you want to make that change in the first place?
Yeah, I mean, dude, as a setter, it fucking sucks, right? Because you can qualify the leads, you can do whatever you can pre-handle anything on there, let the closer know like what limiting beliefs they have or what I guess roadblockers, objections might come through. But at the end of the day, like you just mentioned, I didn't have full control, right?
How
And
much
that's
better,
what sucked about it.
how much better does it feel knowing that now you've gone from obviously having a conversation with a prospect, but you could only take that ability so far. Right, so you couldn't actually all that legwork that you put in, you could only do so much to then put them onto a conversation within somebody else's control. Whereas now you're in complete control of you putting your abilities in place, putting your skills in place, and actually doing the job properly. So now you're in control of making sure you make the most of that deal. How does it feel now knowing that you can make that transition and not putting all the weight of your work into somebody else's control?
It feels good. I've definitely had a big mindset shift ever since I stepped into closing because every time I step into a call and a lead gives me an objection, I'm in a mindset of like, okay, if I don't change their way of thinking, if they don't make a change, they're gonna be stuck at their job for the rest of their lives, like miserable. Right? So I came into that mindset with it, and that's a huge thing because like as business owners, you want to have full control, and that's a whole purpose of being a business owner.
Some people miss that as a closer. Like they think it's just a case of turning up onto a calendar, just turning up to a call and just having a nice conversation. The point of you being a closer is your own business, so fucking treat it like one.
Right.
Because the moment that you just treat it as like a nice conversation, just because calls are put on your calendar, that doesn't actually give you that much empowerment of how far you can actually take it. That's one thing that's really powerful. Like you've gone from obviously being setter to now closer. Now you making that transition of overcoming your own fears once, that will give you the ability to overcome your own fears again because you can take this into something else now. Like you can maximize closing, you can collect all these commissions like 30, 40, 50K a month. And then further down the line, 6 months down the line, you'll again know how to overcome your own fears and actually take control of your income to then move on to something better as well. And I
Right.
think so many closers get stuck in the ability of just like, or even says, this is just my job, so I'll just keep doing it. as opposed to thinking like a year down the line, how can I improve myself to actually take this further than I have previously? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think one
it's
thing we're missing out on though, which is also huge, is the fact that like you were a setter. Like I think like we're missing the whole fact that you were a setter just 2 months ago, 3 months ago, and in your first month, you like you just said you did 30K in comps, $250,000 cash collected. There's closers who've been in this game for over a year and a half, and they've never collected that much or made that much in a month. And you're competing with closers on your offer now that have more experience than you, a lot more experience than you. Why do you feel like you still outperformed other closers when you're brand new into the space? Like, what about you was actually different than all these other guys in the space right now?
Yeah, um, that's a good thing to point out because I think I am the youngest closer, if not the second youngest closer in my offer. And yeah, dude, like the people that I work with, no hate on them. I fucking love those guys to death. They're killers as well, but they have months, if not years of experience. But the only difference that I saw with like me comparing to them, I guess you could say, is one, volume, right? Those guys thought they were working a lot, 10, 8-hour days, but dude, I worked 14-hour days, 6 days a week, and 8 hours on Sunday,
why.
right? Why? One, because I know that data is important. Two, the more volume that I could put in, I know that I could figure out what things I need to tweak. So if I understand, for example, if my show rate's down, okay, this week I need to make sure, and next week I need to make sure I can fix that so I can get more volume in and close more deals. That's another thing that I see with like even the closers in my offer, but other offers as well is, dude, they work like 8, 10-hour days, right? That's fine if you want to make 20 grand a month, right? But if you want to get to 40, 50, 60, even more than that, you have to like put your heart into it.
Yeah. What are you noticing from the conversations though? Because even then, like this is a volume thing, of course. You can say, oh, more calls, more closes, but your close rate isn't 10%, right? That'd be one thing. If your close rate is 10%, yes, more volume. Eventually, you get some deals in. It's still 53%, right? Still more than half, and most closers won't pass 25%. Industry standard is 25. You've doubled that.
Yeah.
Why are your like? What are your conversations actually looking like with these prospects that allow you to have a 53% close rate and again collecting 250K cash?
Yeah, my first week closing, it was still good. I think I hit like a 60K week collected. But one thing that I had talked with Kurt and Ismail about was sticking to my frame because I was letting some people just, I guess you could say, take control of the call where I had asked a question and they were just running in circles, not trying to answer my question. When it comes to like pain, for example, when I asked them like, okay, like genuinely, dude, like, how does that make you feel? Some of them just try to shrug it off and just, you know, stay in their comfort zone. Right. So I dug more into that, like, dude, like genuinely, like, how does that make you feel that you're not able to provide for your family at like the level that you want to? Like, how does that genuinely feel? It's been 2 years and you haven't gotten to where you want to go. Right. So I stuck into my frame and dude, that made a huge difference. Right. Like when
Yeah.
I understood one, they're on the call for a reason, but two, like they're on the call for my help. Now I'm in full control of, okay, do I ask them the right questions, right? Do I get them to fully understand the reality that they're in? And do they actually want to make a change? Right? So the discovery is huge. Like I talked about this with Ismail in my first few sessions, but objection handling is good, but imagine taking calls and the discovery, future pace, consequence, cost of inaction is so good that you don't even have to get objections towards the end of the call.
The thing is, and like anybody can do all those things like future pace, cost of inaction. What is the actual significant difference that allows you to actually make sure you don't get objections? Because anybody can future pace and cost of inaction. What's the one thing that that has actually allowed your conversations to excel to the point where you don't get objections and you can collect 31K in your first month?
Authenticity.
Meaning what though?
I don't come on the calls and tell these guys I make millions of dollars. I come into these calls truly understanding like the position that they're in, right? Because I always tell like some of the leads that or prospects that I talk to, they're always fearful, right? Just because it's something they're not used to. But I tell them I was in the exact same position when I invested my own money into coaching, right? So understanding like having that just the idea of like, okay, I invested in the past. I know exactly how they feel,
Yep.
right? It just makes it so much easier to connect with them, and they love that. And like they like how it's almost normal to have that fear, right? Because I've experienced it as well. So sharing even my personal stories on closing calls, dude, helps a lot. Right?
You
That's
100%.
say
why.
authenticity, but you say authenticity there, I'm cut you off only because what it really is, though, like what you're saying is like you hold yourself to the higher standard, right? Like, yes, when we first spoke, you were scared to invest into yourself. Of course, anybody is, but you did it, right? You're holding yourself to the high standard outside of sales. You're doing whatever you can in your own personal life, so that like internal beliefs are feeding into people, right? You're not forcing people to believe in you. You don't even have to sell them on you. They just buy into you as a closer, right? Because you're not just there for to close a deal, like you said, authenticity. So a big thing a lot of closers are missing is that congruency. You know, they just want to close a deal. They just want to close a deal. But like you said, like you actually do what you're telling these prospects to do outside of sales, which is exactly why people buy into you as a person, not just a sales rep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What
100%.
what you expect from your prospects, you have to reflect that in your own life. Because, like you just mentioned, you've experienced what that fear is like, so you have the ability to guide them through it because you have actively experienced it in your own life. So you know exactly what's going through their mind, so you can guide them through it. It becomes way more fucking powerful when you approach it from that point of view.
Yeah. One thing I
Yeah.
want to add on that is Ismail said this to me when we hopped on a call and I got into the training. But at first, I listened to it and it came in one ear, it came out the other. But I just repeated it to myself. You're the
Oh, fuck
objection
that.
that you give. Right? That genuinely, like, just dude, how many words is that? Like 5 words changed my fucking point of view. Right? You're the objection that you give. And because he told me this, dude, like, how do you expect to close a prospect when you have those beliefs or those objections yourself?
It's like being a fat personal trainer telling someone to get in shape. It's like,
Exactly.
and how many of those have you guys seen, right? There's a lot of those in the gym. Fuck that. Uh, but I think a big thing here as well, and one thing I want to even touch on, like obviously the process, everything, but even Vince, like what is another, because this is something that this still to my mind is just like, damn, what was a big win for you last month making $31,000? Like what, I don't want to say, I want you to say it, but like what did you actually do or who around you did you make more than and like what was that like?
Yeah. Um, Last month, I made 31K in commissions. I made more than my family's ever seen in their life in a month, ever. And to this day, dude, it's been 6 days since last month, but I'm still fucking shocked. Like it hasn't hit me yet to the point where like, dude, there's no way I'm 21 years old. Right? I'm a college dropout, and I made 31,000 fucking dollars last month. More than my family ever seen in their whole life in a month. This is insane. So it's a crazy feeling.
The first time you tell people that, they actually think you're insane. I remember my mum still thinks I do illegal stuff somewhere. But it is what it is. Like when you make more than your parents or people that you've ever seen before, they start to think you're doing strange things. But that's really fucking good, bro. Like you should be proud of yourself, because that's a true reflection of somebody that is going to make it in this game. If you like Ismail will have given you some insights or some inputs to go away and execute on. The fact that you just went away immediately executing everything that he'd given you, that's a reflection of like what it takes to actually be successful. Not sitting there asking the same questions over and over on things that you've already heard before. Just listening to something new and actually going away and executing it. That's how you actually make true fucking money in this game. One thing that I know you're really good at, because I've seen you post it in the conversations, is being able to stand your ground regardless of them giving you pushback. Why do you not let them get away with giving you the pushback when most people do?
Yeah, that's one thing that both of you guys have shown within like the modules, which is really helpful. You get quite a bit of high ego. We could call them like A-type prospects. I don't like to call them that, but that's what the industry calls them, right? I noticed that again, they're on the call for a reason, right? And they probably have that resistance because they've hopped onto multiple calls before. So one thing that I've learned, even just through the group coaching, dude, is I heard someone say this in one of the calls. Don't remember who it was, but I almost give them an identity frame. Right? I respect them because if I respect them, the respect reciprocates. Right? So when I have these high ego leads, one, there's two ways I go about it. One is I just straight up fucking call them out for it. Like, dude, is this ego helping either of us?
I
Like
don't think anything
envisioning
for
that
me.
reality, right? Like envisioning that reality in your mind right now. What are those emotions running through your brain right now, envisioning that reality? Like, would you be crying out of sadness or crying out of joy?
I don't have any emotions since I lost my money. To be honest, I sold my car. I sold my G class, two
Okay,
hundred
cool.
thousand dollars just to inject and to keep my trading.
Yeah, dude,
Uh,
you're not
uh,
listening to my
yeah,
question. Like you're
no,
just talking about like, dude, unrelated stuff. Like I don't care if you have a G class, right? That doesn't matter. My question is like envisioning a reality of you making 25 grand a month. What are those emotions running through your brain right now, envisioning that reality? Right? Because there's two ways we could have this conversation. We could have an ego battle here, or we can have a productive conversation. Right? See if I could actually help you. Or the other way I do it is, again, like the identity frames type of thing. Not even like this is during the discovery. Right? I say, so yeah, dude, like I get it. There's two types of like, I guess you could say like business owners that I talk to every day. There are people with good ego and bad ego. The people with good ego know that they're doing well in business, but understand that they can learn from someone who's doing a lot better than them. And the people with bad ego, I think that they could do it on their own. And I sort of question like, why the hell are we on the call in the first place? So like genuinely, dude, like I respect where you're coming from, but you have to respect me as well. Is that fair? And then from there, just because I show respect to them as a business owner, they reciprocate it. And then I take full control of the call. One, in the back of their head, they might share it. They probably know it's a sales call, but two, they understand that it comes from a place of heart, and I'm there to actually help. So that's like the biggest thing. And then obviously you have dickheads who just hop on the call and think they know it all, and you just call them out for it.
That's just giving a free masterclass on this case study. um,
Don't give away too much, Vince. Jesus, make people too much money.
for real.
No, you've
Go ahead.
you've smashed it, bro. Like seriously, like most entrepreneurs' biggest regrets is like they wish you would have started sooner. And the fact that you're already doing this at 2021 is outstanding. I think you should be proud of yourself, and I hope your dad's proud of you, and he's not a little bit annoyed at how this motherfucker do it. I hope he's actually genuinely proud of what you've done. Because it's the same with Ismail as well. Like you guys are still so young and you're fucking crushing it, and you should be super proud of yourselves. Both of you have done really well.
Yeah.
The fact that you've done this well as this month as well give you so much confidence to go into this month now and just be so much more concrete and just dial in the very smaller things that are actually going to take you to 40 to 50 grand a month easier. Just the
Yeah.
small nuances. That's all it's going to take now because you've dialed this in perfectly.
Yeah.
What is, you know,
So I can even feel it now, right? Like Vince is a lot more confident. Like the first time we spoke, Vince, like there was still some fear, right? Investing into yourself. But like even now, and one thing we always talk about though is never getting too high, and that's something I think you've done very well. Because a lot of reps like they have a really good 30K month, and now they're in Bali having cigars, and they think that they did it, they made it, right? They made a first 10K month, and they have their cigars out, and like they made it. But for you, it's like you the next like the first of this month, I think you still took what 10-hour days, 12-hour days. Like it's not like you're chilling, yeah, you know. And I think that's really good. Something that you've done very well is like clearly you're a lot more confident, but secondly, you're not getting too high, you're not getting too low, because 1 month doesn't really make you the best closer. It's actually being able to do and repeat. And look at you, 50K cash, and what is this, 6 days in, pushing another 30K month here.
Yeah. Yeah, that's funny because obviously a lot of people might look at it and they're like, there's no fucking way. Right? First month must be luck. You know, there's gonna be those normies out there that just say that. But I want to separate myself and be like, dude, this isn't fucking beginner's luck. Right? This is genuinely just hard work and learning from the right fucking people.
Right.
So
sorry, go on, bro.
yeah, so I don't want people to look at it like, holy shit, this guy hit one good month, probably just really good leads and really good marketing, right? I want people to understand like this is as authentic and as real as it gets, right?
Yeah.
There is going to be retards that will 100% watch this. Unfortunately, that's just going to be the case. But there's going to be guys out there specifically that this hits home pretty well, right? To your personal story, your achievements are going to hit home really fucking hard. That's the whole reason why I set this group up and why Ismail does what he does, is because there's going to be people out there that need our help. Now, where you're at, obviously, there was somebody out there that you listened to that was like Ismail, for example. He was the guy that you looked up to and you were like, wow, if he can do it, I can do it. So there's a guy out there right now looking for your insights on like, what are the biggest things or value you could give that person now that's listening to this that you feel like would actually help him make a transition to be able to achieve what he wants?
Yeah. Exactly that.
Really.
And like you got to remember, you're doing yourself a disservice to the people that actually look up to you. Like now you're doing content, which is good, but there's people out there that actually do look up to you. Even on your offer, the reps are lower, even setters. Like at one point, I was the closer, you were the setter. Right now, you're the closer. Now you have setters on your offer, probably looking up to you, which is strong. Now, I don't want this to go too long because people have attention spans as fishes, right? But Vince, I guess if you were to go back and like just two things you could say here. If someone's in your position, like again, like someone who's looking up to you now, a setter on your offer, a setter on another offer who's looking at the top rep making 30, 40K a month, like what would you tell that person now that you've gotten to where you're at, you overcame your own objections? What would you tell that person about like their progress and what they should do moving forward to actually get what they want and not just settling for less like you were for a year?
Yeah. Motherfucker.
Just had to put it in there.
I have to put it in there.
Guy's shitting on me, bro. My biggest piece of advice for new closers coming in, or closers that are already in, or setters trying to move up to closing, is this is gonna sound so fucking salesy, but genuinely just find people that know what the hell they're doing, that care about your results, and you're not just like a number in their program, right? Because trust me, before I looked into STS and looked at coaching with Ismail, I looked at a ton of other programs, but dude, let's be honest.
Let's hear the names. I'm just kidding. Don't say the names.
Let's be honest. There's thousands of people in there, right? But that aside, if you can get one-on-one training from, dude, someone who's fucking 18 or someone like Kurt who's generated millions in the info space, just logically, right? Get help from people that care, right? Get help from people that know what the hell they're doing, right? Because even myself, dude, I had an ego when I hopped on the call with Ismail because I thought I was on top of the world, making 7K a month, right? So I let that go, and I just said, "Fuck it, like it's time to make a change," and I flipped the switch.
Let's put it on the credit card.
See what happens when you fucking get out your own way and you stop convincing yourself that things are okay. You make fucking double your income. See how easy it is. Just get out your own way. Fuck.
Yeah, that's simple. It sounds simple, right? Yeah.
Sounds too simple, it's stupid, but that's what a lot of these guys are missing. Simple. They try and overcomplicate shit. But anyway,
Yeah.
shout out to main man Vince. Where can they find you on IG if anybody wants to listen to your outstanding content?
Yeah, it's Vince.Sturgeon, Sturgeon.
Okay.
There we go.
What kind of stuff do you post?
What'd you say?
What kind of stuff do you post?
I just shit on Kurt and Ismail.
Oh.
Thirst traps. That's what I post. Yeah.
So there you go, Vince Surgeon, if you want first straps on IG. Shout out to Vince. That was anybody that's a setter, closer, not making the money they want to. I don't know. Maybe you should make a decision to change. Fuck knows. It's up to you. I won't force you to do anything, Ismail. I won't force you to do anything. But if you want to make more money, you know where to fucking go.
You know where to go.
Easy peasy. We're out, gangsters. See you later.